Bitcoin has starts falling again. What happens to Bitcoin? What happens to Bitcoin? And what happens to Bitcoin? Let's stay tuned for more. As you can see, Bitcoin had falls all the way down again. It's the two red candlesticks dip all the way down to the nearest support right here. So what happens to Bitcoin? I would say mainly two reasons. The first reason because everybody knows that Elon Musk start tweeting bad about Bitcoin again. As usual, this is what he tweeted earlier. I know I said it would be over between us if he quote another Linkin Park song, but I have found someone else. So in the end, it didn't even matter. So it's a Linkin Park lyrics, one of the Linkin Park's lyrics. Maybe what he's trying to say that maybe he already sell off all his Bitcoins, or maybe he don't have any Bitcoins. He doesn't even care because he has already found someone else. And the someone else that he's trying to say is Dogecoin. Very obvious answer. So basically he wanted the Dogecoin to surge further up compared to the Bitcoin so that he can get more investors on board on the Dogecoin. But it fails to. Why? Because whenever the Bitcoin falls, Dogecoin will fall. So no matter how hard you try to move the investors from Bitcoin to Doge, the percentage of making it happen is like 1%, maybe 0.1%, or maybe it's slightly impossible because, as I stated before, Bitcoin is one of the pioneer coins in crypto space. And you can't just talk bad about Bitcoin, then ask all the investors to move to Dogecoin, then hopefully Dogecoin could surpass 1 over trillions of market cap, and then Bitcoin can just drop all the way back to zero market cap, which is slightly impossible, right? So we need to understand. But the second thing that I want to know is, what kind of strategy is he trying to create? Because right now he's creating a FUD, and he knows that once he has tweeted bad about Bitcoin every time, I believe that he knows what he actually is doing. But what's the motive behind him is, we actually don't know. Maybe he has the master plan behind, maybe he have any good plans behind to back up his motive. But right now, I could say that it's still a lose-lose situation for both of the coins. Bitcoins, Dogecoin, no matter what coins, it is still bad for the crypto space. I could say that even if, let's say, Elon Musk really wanted the Dogecoin to grow, he should be supporting both of the cryptos. He couldn't be like support one side, then another side he just keep on backlash for no reasons. He expecting the Dogecoin to go further up. I believe that it doesn't make sense, but one thing I really think it could happen is he actually wanted to create this FUD, this Bitcoin FUD, because he knows that every time he create the FUD, the crypto space or the Bitcoin will fall further down. So when it falls, he will create a chance, an opportunity for him and his buddies and his companies or whatsoever, or his friends, to get into the Bitcoin at a much more cheaper price. That's the reason why he want to create a FUD, so that all the retailers like us scared and FOMO to exit the market earlier, so that these guys can come in at a cheaper price. So once they have accumulated enough Bitcoins, then he will start talk goods about Bitcoin. Furthermore, I think this is one of the reasons why the Bitcoin falls so badly. And the second reason is because of the Bitcoin ransomware payment set dangerous precedents House Oversight Chair. So this ransomware news actually also another FUD news that also makes the Bitcoin to continue to fall further down today. But actually these two bad news, I could say that it will only last for a certain while. Because as I stated, Bitcoin is not going anywhere. I think most of the institutions outside are now starting to accumulate more Bitcoins and more cryptocurrencies. Even JP Morgan stated that the institution are not buying any Bitcoin anymore. But it's actually, we know this is the right time for them to buy, because this is one of the FUD news they created, so that the JP Morgan and other institutions can buy Bitcoins at the lower price. So yeah, Bitcoin falls most likely today. this 2 red candlestick, it has been 8 hours. It has falls all the way down back to 35,800. Yes, it's about 10% dip, but not actually. If you ask me whether it's really bad or not, I would say not bad at all, because it just falls back to whatever past few days it is. But I think it will slowly recover afterwards. So right now, yes, what we can monitor is if the 4-hourly chart, if it creates a bullish engulfing or any type of bullish pattern, such as the bullish harami, can be any bullish signals that can indicate a reversal, a pullback, then Bitcoin will do a very strong recovery towards back this 39,000. But the bad news is, actually, if the FUDs were not created by Elon Musk or any institution or any medias, I would think that the Bitcoin will have a very strong recovery towards the 40,000 already. But too bad, we need to wait for another few more days before it reaches the 40,000. Is it possible or not this week? I would certainly say it is possible, because a lot of institutions are actually buying Bitcoin. 30,000 area is one of the price target they will buy back all the coins. So right now, I think the retailers or most of the big companies or big players started to see the opportunity around this area. So right now, they are trying to buy as much as Bitcoin as possible before another boost cycle kicks in. Yeah. So right now, I think so far so good for Bitcoin, even though it drops. But looking at the daily chart is not bad after all. As you can see here, the previous candlestick, it actually closed above this moving average line. Can you see the moving average line here? It closed above. So it's actually a very good news for the Bitcoin, because right now, yes, it might do a minor correction all the way down back to this support area. So once you have done the minor correction, it will slowly move back towards the moving average line, and it will slowly go back towards the 40k area. And the Dogecoin itself, it actually dips. It's okay also. It dips all the way back to this moving average line. It actually broken the moving average line, surprisingly, and it was expected to go further up to this area by right to this 0.5 area, but it's now stuck around this area. And of course, because the FUDs has fallen almost 13% today, which is funny, because I think what Elon Musk trying to do is he wanted the Dogecoin price value to surge further up, even higher and higher. But eventually, whenever he tweets back about Bitcoin, I think he didn't expect that the Dogecoin will follow to dip furthermore than what Bitcoin has dipped. So right now, the Dogecoin is not really doing very well, but looking at the 4-hourly chart, it's still doing very alright. It falls at the nearest, what they call the support level. This is support level, and this is the nearest resistance level, the previous resistance level. So right now, Doge has just fall right above the support area, and right now we need to hope that the Doge doesn't fall below. But if it does, then it will fall all the way back down to this 29 cents again. So right now, what we can hope for is the similar move. If the Doge managed to close above and do maybe a bullish engulfing, it will have a possibility to go all the way back to this 43 cents. As I stated in my previous video also, I have stated we need to wait for the Dogecoin to close above the 43 cents. And if it doesn't, it will just float around this area and wait for the moving average to come closer to the candlestick. So right now, yes, it does what it does, and right now the candlestick fails again and again to break above the 43 cents, and right now it falls all the way back down to the nearest support area. So right now, what you can see is you might do a consolidation around this area until you have a decision making whether to go up or to go back down to this area. Yeah, I think that's all for today's episode. So I should say that the Elon Musk need to understand that he cannot just be one-sided only towards the Doge. He must also support the Bitcoins if he wants the Bitcoin or the crypto space, or he wants the Dogecoin to grow, because he must understand that Bitcoin is one of the pioneer coin cryptocurrency, and no other coins can actually replace the pioneer coins. So if he wants the Dogecoin to grow further and further in future, he must always support Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency also. He cannot just like backlash Bitcoin and then just say good about Doge, because whenever he does that, the Dogecoin holders actually dislike what he's trying to do. So whenever he talks bad about Bitcoin, the Dogecoin actually falls much more faster than Bitcoin. So what's the point of doing the FUDs on Bitcoin when the situation is like lose-lose situation? There's no winning situation between both of them, right? So yeah, I think that's all for today's episode. And the last thing I want to share is the Huobi. Yeah, Huobi had actually agreed to do an AMA session with CryptoMY in this month or the coming month. We will be talking about to understand more about Huobi during the live session. This live session, I will be announce the date and the time sooner or later in my YouTube channel or in my Telegram group. So stay tuned for the AMA live session between CryptoMY and Huobi Global. Yeah, that's all for today's episode. If you like my episode today, remember to click like, share, and subscribe. I will see you guys soon, and goodbye.